Hey guys, good morning. Listen up. So, I was reading Psalms 91 this morning, and God said, I protected you. And so then, maybe like 15 to 20 minutes later, I was talking to my mom, and she was telling me a situation. And I heard it again. I was protecting you. And so, what God took me back to was in 20. I think it was like 2013 or something. I was moving out of my apartments, and so I wanted to move into this other apartment because I wanted to stay in the same little medical center area and, live my life or whatever. Well, something happened where I didn't get the apartment. Like, I didn't even get to apply. The lady was like, just telling me, like, no, this is, we don't have availability, basically. Like, we don't have it. We won't have it for another time, for like another couple of months or whatever. And so I was like, okay. I was like really discouraged. And so I kept on going. I was like, God, just lead me the right way. I went back to my current apartment office, and they told me, like, no, we're not going to be able to do this because we've already leased out your apartment. So I couldn't even stay there. Anyway, so I ended up going to these apartments that was closer to like my job. So I went over there, got the apartment, everything was fine. About 6 months later, I just so happened to be getting up because I had to be at work for 6 at the time. I got up that morning, was getting dressed, was watching the news only for the weather. Because I don't really watch the news, but I watch it for the weather. So I was watching the news for the weather, and it was like in these apartments there was just a drive-by shooting, and the drive-by shooting happened at maybe about 5:15, 5:20 in the morning. Well, this is the thing. I would have been leaving out of my house at that time to go to work, but because they didn't have apartments available at the time, because there was nothing available for me where I would have been staying, I probably would have been walking outside at that same time. I probably would have been getting in my car or caught up in the crossfire. But God will do things like He will protect you without you even knowing you were protected. I had no idea that the no or the not right now or the we don't have it available right now was actually God's protection to say, honey boo boo, you gonna be leaving out at this same time, but this is not the plans that I have for your life. This is not what I have for you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this lady tell you no. My God, how many times have God redirected your path and you're like, why is this happening to me? Why did this happen in the way that it happened? And God he'll later tell you, I was protecting you. God's protection is immeasurable. And this is the thing, I wanted to live in those apartments because at the time I was still like clubbing and everything. It was right in the spot where I wanted to be. And God said no. I said, y'all not gonna have no apartments. That lady said, no, we're not gonna have any apartments. I think I was moving in like March. They weren't gonna have apartments until like May or June, but my apartment was already, because I was willing to wait. I went back to my old apartments, to the apartments I was staying in, just to see if they could like extend my time, even though I had given my 2-month, move out. I had done all of that. But when God's no is a no, that's what it is. I wasn't upset at the time. Well, I was upset at the time. Let me not say that. I was upset at the time because I wanted to stay in that place. But God's protection was sufficient. It was over my life. Listen, what is God telling you no to? And it seems as if He just being mean. It seems as if you just not getting a fair break. It seems as if He's just not giving you what you want. Listen, I want you to take a step back, take a deep breath, and just start thanking God for what He has not done, what He didn't allow to happen, what He said no to. Thank God for the no. You know what I mean? We be so caught up in wanting God to say yes all the time. But how about we start thanking God for the no? We start thanking God that He said no. He said no to their relationship. Because guess what? You didn't know that person got hand problems. You get what I'm saying? He said no to the job because you didn't know that boss was going to be horrible. You know what I mean? Or they were going to treat people unfairly. He said no to the apartment because somebody was going to get harmed later on, right? So what if we start thanking God for his no, and not be so angry or upset or discouraged because he didn't give us a yes. Anyway, remember, God's rejection is his protection. Psalms 91. Remember that. Cover yourself with Psalms 91. Look, sometimes we be standing on our grandmother's prayers. I hadn't even prayed that morning. I hadn't even done anything but start putting my clothes on. And God said, let me show you something. I'm going to show you, baby girl, that I was protecting you along the way. Listen, God's rejection is not always rejection. It is God's protection. You guys have a blessed day.